there's kind of like 9 players who are locked into that core rotation. So from there, it's like that 10th or 11th player. Who are those players? And I think this is where there can be a battle in training camp and in the preseason to see who kind of wins out there. And I think there's 3 options here. You could have Champagnie, who I have on paper right now in that slot, because he's giving you known outside shooting. He's a reliable shooter from outside for the Spurs. He plays, he plays pretty good defense out on the perimeter, and so it's one of the reasons why he ended up getting the starting job last year. Pop could at least rely on him for both his shooting and his defense out there. So I think that's where he has the advantage right now. Coming into this season, and we saw that even though he doesn't make maybe financially as much as some of the other players on the team, you did see that the Spurs did everything they could this offseason to keep him on their roster without having to waive him or trade him. And then we even saw that just a few weeks ago they let his contract actually fully guarantee. So again, I think right now that 10th spot belongs to Champagnie. But the 2 players who have been part of the rotation, but now that there's more players added, more veteran players added to this team, I think that they're going to be fighting for that spot or battling for that spot are both Malaki Branham and Blake Wesley. So Branham, obviously, his shot can be up and down. His outside shot, we know he's more so like a 3-level scorer. A little bit more playmaking from him, so that's where he might have an edge over Julian Champagnie. And then, but defensively, I think Champagnie still has the advantage over Branham. So again, Branham could be battling with Champagnie for minutes, or there's also Blake Wesley. And so Wesley obviously wouldn't play the 3, which is that spot I'm talking about. But in this case, let's just say Wesley was trying to battle for that open spot. Then I think in that case, you shift whoever's that at the 2 right now on the bench. So someone like Castle shifts down to the 3, and then you have Wesley play more of that 2 and kind of run some combo guard minutes with Trey Jones. So again, with Wesley too, his shot's still developing. It's not quite there yet. His outside shot, offensively, he can get to the basket. He's really quick, but kind of still developing his shooting, his playmaking on offense, and then defensively, that's what he's known for as well. Like he's hounding kind of defense, kind of just disrupting passing lanes, being very aggressive on the ball, and so that's what kind of gives him a little bit of an edge in terms of trying to beat out maybe Champagnie for some of those minutes. But right now, again, on paper, I do have Champagnie getting that 10th man spot. And one thing Pop could do, honestly, and he's done this before, is maybe play even like 11 players in a regular season game where he has 2 of those players, like maybe like Branham and Champagnie split the minutes, or Branham and Wesley, Champagnie and Wesley split minutes. So something like that could also happen in that case. But again, as long as everyone's healthy on this roster, I do think that those are those 9 players I mentioned earlier are definitely going to be in games, whether some of them are starting as those players or they're coming off the bench.